Update: am I the asshole for kicking my wife and her daughter out of my house? Here is my original post. Hey guys, a lot of you asked me how am I doing and for an update. It has been couple of weeks since the incident now. I met with my wife and we discussed everything. She wanted to continue with our marriage and give it a second chance, but I told her I want a divorce. It was very hard for me, but in the end I think it was a right thing to do. I still love my wife, but I don't want to be caught in the middle of all that again. Last year was the most stressful and hardest period of my life and I felt like I have to put my mental health and my well-being first. This wasn't easy for Andy either, but I think she understood. We agreed this would be also better for Carrie. I strongly advised to get her daughter professional help and Carrie has started therapy last week. We went to lawyer's office and signed the divorce papers. It was really quick and smooth. We had a prenup, didn't share money and our marriage lasted only a year. There is still some small things that need to be dealt with, but it is pretty much over. I also met with my lawyer. We got a rough estimate on that car damage and it's a lot. 2 slashed tires, deep scratches all over the car and a bit cracked windows. It is about €6,000. Average salary in my country is about €1,000 a month, so this is a lot of money. We talked to my insurance company and my insurance doesn't cover vandalism or any kind of this damage. My lawyer strongly advised me to go to the police and press charges against Carrie. I wasn't sure about this but he said if anything goes wrong, this will help my case. So I did that. Couple days after I met with Andy to talk about this situation. We both brought our lawyers to help us with all the legal stuff. I told her my insurance won't cover anything and I want her to pay for all the damage. She said she doesn't have that much money, they moved in with her parents and she is looking for a new place, so she needs all the money she can get right now. I offered to pay for the damage now and she will be paying me back when she has the money. She agreed. Because I reported Carrie to the police, she will have a criminal record which sucks, because it will likely cause her problems in the future, but she kind of brought it on herself, and in a couple of weeks she will be facing something like a civil rights court. My lawyer said she will most likely end up getting a court-ordered psychiatrist and some hours of community work. It has been a really rough couple of weeks but my amazing friends helped me a lot to get through this all and I'm glad it's over. Also thank you guys for your judgments and kind messages.
Good for you for standing your ground. And don't feel bad for reporting Carrie to the police. You did her a favor. If she doesn't get punished when she is young for doing bad things, she will continue to do these things when she is older, and only get herself in more trouble. Additionally, being sad, shocked doesn't mean that she can do anything she wants. She can let out her anger, grief by talking. Scratching up someone's car and causing €6,000 in damage simply isn't acceptable.
I'm sorry your marriage turned out like this. I hope you have a repayment plan in writing with your ex-wife.
Man, I feel for Carrie. She fucked up, and you're doing what you gotta do, but that girl so obviously has spent the last 5 years crying for help and it took an inciting event like this and her breaking up a marriage for her mother to realize she needed therapy after her father died unexpectedly. Moral of this story: therapy is good. People, please, if you have trauma or me not the asshole illness or are just stressed or sad and you have access to one, see a therapist.
Not the asshole again. This was the wake-up call needed for the mother and especially the daughter. Hopefully she continues therapy and gets the help she needs.
Well, this is about as good as this situation was going to turn out. Good on you. I am slightly curious however, what did Carrie have to say about all this? How did she react to getting charged?
I'm glad to hear that things are falling into place. Must been hard for you take legal actions against her in divorce, but I think both things are the best for all the parties implied. As a parent as well as a step-parent, I'm a bit angry on Carrie's behalf. She should have been in therapy immediately after her father's passing, or at least as soon as it became evident that you and Andy were serious about each other. I'm absolutely not condoning her behavior and agree that she needs to be held accountable, but Andy really dropped the ball here and now everyone is feeling the impact of her negligence. After reading your first post, that girl needed therapy directly when you guys notice her behavior.
Well done on standing your ground. The criminal record was something that needed to be done, especially since it's $6,000 worth of damage.
I think you're doing the right thing. Your ex let a lot of things go, even when Carrie was showing a lot of signs of behavior that needed intervention. It cost her her marriage. And it also almost cost Carrie most of her future. Court-ordered intervention, if it's rehab, might actually be the best thing for her in the long run. My parents' former neighbors' kids both had heroin problems. At one point, they broke into another neighbor's home and stole things to feed their habit. The parents just brushed it off, so the neighbors felt like they had no choice but to press charges. It caused friction, but the resultant legal intervention proved to be what one of the kids needed to get treatment. They're now clean, married, and gainfully employed with kids of their own.
How did you have a prenup and get divorced in 3 weeks but not have comprehensive car insurance? That does cover vandalism as far as I'm aware.
Good job, bro. I have respect. It was probably hard for you splitting up with Andy. But I think it's best for all of you, and I'm glad Carrie is getting the help she really needs. And stay safe. Not the asshole. You made the right choice. Your ex-stepdaughter needs help beyond belief. €6,000 in damage is almost $10,000 Canadian dollars. If she continues down this destructive path, she will for sure end up in trouble with the law. No mom to bail her out. No excuses.
This girl has lived with you for a year and has been obviously mentally unwell for the entire time, and nobody thought to get her professional help? Her dad died when she was 11, and her mom forced her to move in with you before she was ready. She has been begging you guys for help and sending clearer and clearer messages, and your response is to call her names, kick her out of your home, and call the police, with the hope that they will send her to psychiatric counseling? I understand that the kid wrecked your stuff, but you and your ex both completely dropped the ball. You married a woman with a traumatized daughter. That's a package deal, and you knew what you were getting into. I really hope that kid gets the help she needs. She deserves better than this. Stepparents don't get enough credit. It can be incredibly difficult and stressful to deal with a child that isn't your own, especially a teenager. I'm sorry you had to go through all that, but I think you made the right call. My husband and I are separated, and the second I left, the kids turned on me. We're still together, just living separately, so family functions are fucking awful for me now. If this shit goes south, which it probably will, I am never dating someone with kids again and plan to be child-free from here on out. Unchecked kids can be an absolute nightmare. She wanted to continue with our marriage and give it a second chance. I laughed out loud. Good riddance.
I'm glad to hear you got a somewhat happy ending out of all this. While it sucks you and your wife weren't able to work things out, you made the right choice. I can't imagine how much stress Carrie put on you. Hopefully, this will serve as a wake-up call for both her and your ex. Thanks for the update and take care of yourself.
Does no one else feel that the criminal record could really screw Carrie over in the future? Yes. She needed to face consequences, but that could make her suffer for the rest of her life.
Oh, thank heavens. I worried about you honestly, since the daughter seemed to be escalating the violence and Andy seemed so complacent about it. It wasn't going to become any easier for you. Not the asshole once again, and so glad you are taking care of yourself, first and foremost. I'm also so sorry your marriage ended, but Andy wasn't willing to do the hard parenting of her own child.
It sounds like Carrie has been acting out, trying to get thrown out. She chose to damage the car because she knows how much you value it. If you hadn't kicked them out after the car, she would have escalated yet again. Breaking dishes, leaving glass on the floor and being rude to the neighbors didn't work, so she went for the car. She was coldly calculating. Kicking them out was the only thing you could do to make her vandalism stop.
It's for the better that you two just remain friends. Your now ex is an enabler who didn't get her daughter therapy after her dad died. Her first priority before finding someone new should have been taking a breather and getting her daughter therapy to cope with the loss. Not the asshole. I would have done the same thing, but goddamn that mom is going to absolutely rain down hell on her daughter. I wouldn't feel bad cause she's 15 and should know better, but TBH, it sounds like your ex-wife was a shitty parent. The only one not an asshole in this situation is you op.
Just hope for Carrie to get the best help she can. She should have been in therapy a long time ago, and maybe this would have never happened.
Dude, you got shitty internet advice and fucked up your marriage. You're also an asshole for being so horrible to a child that lost her father and is having obvious issues with it. Some of the issues may be exacerbated by other underlying conditions, depression, bipolar, etc. You should have helped the child you were supposed to be protecting. I mean, maybe your marriage wouldn't have worked and your stepdaughter could not receive treatment because that's what she needed, treatment, but wow. You're a horrible asshole and I really hope you see this.
For everyone saying he's the asshole. Don't forget that the mother wanted her daughter to be left alone for a while as well, until she coped with the idea of a stepfather, yet she destroyed his car for no reason. Actions have consequences.
Good for you, Op. Good luck in your life.
I lost my dad at 12 after my parents separated a year earlier. I never took out my grief or anger out on my stepdad when he met and eventually married my mother. Did I act out? Sure, change is hard. But I never caused damage to items or instigated fights with my stepdad. I spent more time being an emo loner. The girl needs help, that much is true. Her mother is the asshole for not getting her help sooner or even admitting that her daughter is acting out. It's shit, but hopefully therapy will help her. Not the asshole.
And this is why you don't uproot a child's life without permission. Shitty parenting on mom's side.
Glad to hear you got this sorted out. It seems like divorce is the best. Wish you and Andy Carrie the best.
It sucks that Carrie lashed out so seriously, and yet, while she is now dealing with the law, she got rewarded with what she desired. She didn't want Op around and now she train-wrecked her mom's new marriage. I recognize the mom is to blame, but Carrie should still be able to recognize how wrongly she acted, even if her father has passed. I hope she comes to have some guilt for what she did to her mom and Op. I feel sorry for Andy. She sounds like a soft-hearted woman who thought that Carrie would just get it out of her system. It doesn't sound like she had a clue on how to help her daughter. It's heartbreaking to think that she finally found love again after losing her first husband, only to have it slip through her fingers because she didn't get her daughter help in time. I also think it's sad there is so much focus on the car instead of the anguish in this relationship. You have every right to be upset about the car, but I think it took your car getting destroyed to make you realize you were in over your head. Not everyone can handle a child, or adult, that's acting out. I feel bad for everyone involved and hope Carrie gets the help she needs.
Thing is, this isn't a little kid acting out. This is a 16-year-old. Old enough to go to jail, forever, in the US. In 2 years she will be an adult. This isn't a child having impulse control or anger issues. This is a young, almost adult, having impulse control, anger issues and vandalism problems. That is not okay. That is not something to be rug swept. I'm sorry about your marriage, but honestly, it sounds like it's for the best for everyone.
I'm curious as to what country allows such a quick divorce after less than a fortnight of splitting up. I'm not calling bullshit or anything, more wondering where this happened, as I know from personal experience that is not the case in my country. Trauma doesn't give you a free ride to destroy other people's property. While I agree, Carrie needed therapy long ago, that was the responsibility of her mother. I feel for her about her father dying, I lived that myself. She's not totally innocent here. She caused extreme havoc on this man's life. The responsibility, at the end of the day, falls on her mother. Who, I will agree, dropped the ball and misread Carrie's cries for help. He respected Carrie's boundaries by not trying to be a second father to her. She didn't want that and he tried his best not to. I didn't see your original post until now. You did the right thing all the way around. Your ex should have had Carrie in treatment long ago, so if she gets court-ordered care, so much the better. 6 months' wages worth of damage is a big deal. Pursue all the options available to you, and do not let up on getting paid back. I'm sorry for everyone suffering in this situation, but you were smart to know what you can, will and won't handle.
Oh gosh. In the end, most prefer to stay with, support their blood relatives, so this was Carrie's success. She got rid of you. Most likely it was a Pyrrhic victory. That young woman is going to have to deal with the law, and then she'll have to apologize to her mother for the rest of her life. Carrie won this battle, but she'll lose her war. So very sad.
Carrie wins. Gets sole attention from her mum, who's paying for the damage.
Pros and cons on reporting Carrie. She'll have a record and the hassle that brings, but it will more effectively highlight her very serious issues that her mother seems to have been rug sweeping for a while, considering the level of escalation. Breaking things consistently is beyond acting out, and such violent vandalism is worrisome. I hope you are doing well yourself, and sorry about your divorce. Sucks, dude, but well handled it seems. BMW would like to collectively clutch their pearls at the damage. If you want to share, get free karma.
If someone does not want a criminal record, here's a very helpful tip: don't commit a crime.
Please take it in written from your ex that she will repay later. Oh BV, not the asshole, I went and read your original post, as to me it was the last straw and you snapped. I do feel that you're very young to have to father a 16-year-old. Her mother has not been parenting her well and now she will have a criminal record as she's 16 is consequences if her actions. At 16 she absolutely knew what she was doing. Her mother should have had her in therapy a long time ago. At least you're young and can move on with your life. Hopefully with a woman who had a backbone.
How fucking dare you hold someone accountable for their actions?
Good on you for leaving a toxic situation.
I call bullshit on this. How is your divorce already final? Even divorces with a prenup still generally require a few months separation beforehand, and your post was just 3 weeks ago.
Must have been hard, but it ultimately had to happen. Sad that it took all of this for the girl to receive therapy, which should have started the week after her father had passed. Can't sweep that stuff under the rug, and neither could you. Accepting all of that is mental abuse and you rose above it. Glad you have such great friends, and don't underestimate therapy for yourself. This couldn't have been easy.
One good thing came out of it: the daughter is finally getting counseling.
Is lucky he didn't get his throat slit at night. Sounds like a real piece of work.
Info: this was 3 weeks ago and you're already legally divorced.
I hope you got that repayment plan in writing and a lawyer to witness it, otherwise you ain't seeing a penny from her, I guarantee it. I'm sorry your marriage turned out this way, and don't feel sorry for how you retreated Carrie. It's hard that she has a lot of issues to work through, but they're not your problem anymore.
Good for you. I'm sorry it played out like this, but that teenager needs to grow up and learn. Unfortunately, she chose the hard way. I hope therapy helps, because right now she's just an asshole. Probably a very sad one inside.